We are right in the middle of Medicare's annual open enrollment for the year, and we're finding that a lot of our clients and our viewers have questions about this. So we have brought in today Candy Myers, who is a Twin Cities Medicare expert, to answer some questions that a lot of people have during this kind of confusing time. So can you give us maybe 3 things that people who are looking at getting on Medicare or changing their plan should be thinking about right now?
Sure. So when you're thinking about a Medicare policy, there's 2 main types in Minnesota that you should know about. So the first one is Medicare supplement policies. Those follow Medicare A and B rules. They cover hospital and doctors. So Part A is for the hospital, Part B is for the doctors. Supplement policies are good policies because they have predictable costs that help you stay ahead of unexpected out-of-pocket expenses. They have no network restrictions, which means you can see any doctor who accepts Medicare payment. And you don't need a referral to see a specialist, so they're great plans. They don't cover your prescription drug policy or your prescription drug costs, though. You have to get a standalone prescription drug plan to go with those.
So this maybe is the most flexible plan.
They're contracts, so they don't change every year like Medicare Advantage plans, and you can travel with them. So you can take them anywhere in the United States that you want to go that accepts Medicare. You can go to California or Texas or travel with these and they'll follow you. You don't have to worry about staying in the network. That's a big thing with supplement policies.
And that sounds like a great fit for our clients who like to go somewhere seasonally, because of course we live in Minnesota where it gets very cold in the winter, and those clients that like to go south to Florida or Texas or Arizona snowbirds, yes, will be able to still have access to their insurance plan.
Correct. And the other type of policies are Medicare Advantage plans. Medicare Advantage plans cover Part A, Part B, Part D, so they combine those and they're called Part C plans. Part C plans, Medicare Advantage plans, include hospital coverage, doctor coverage, prescription drug coverage, and they also have ancillary benefits such as vision, dental, and hearing. These types of plans, though, are network-based. So you put in your zip code where you live, and it'll bring up 60 plans in that area, and you pick from one of those. Those plans change every year, so you have to make sure that you stay in your network, review your plan every year with an agent, make sure all your prescription drugs are covered. So those are the 2 main types of Medicare plans that you can get in Minnesota.
So our clients that maybe are looking at cost, which one, or is there not much difference between the costs of those 2 types of plans?
That's a good question. So Medicare supplement plans are usually higher cost. They are, a set price. So if you get a plan that's extended basic, you could be looking at spending almost $300 a month for your plan. But then if you have all the riders attached to them, you don't see a bill. So you can budget. So every month you're going to spend $300 on your Medicare supplement policy. And keep in mind, the Advantage plans have plans as low as $0 a month. They range from 0 to almost $200, just depending on the level of care you want. But with insurance, the less you pay, the less coverage you're going to get. As far as you're going to have more out-of-pocket expenses when you go to the doctor with a Medicare Advantage plan. If you travel a lot and you want to be able to see any doctor, specialists, not have to worry about referrals, Medicare supplements are a good way to go.
Okay, good to know. So you mentioned that there are 3 things that people should maybe be looking at. So what is the second thing?
Well, the second thing to think about during open enrollment is, it's the annual election period is what it's called right now, between October 15th and December 7th. You can review your policies and change for this next year. So for 2023, you can change your policy during this time.
So for those who maybe have been on a Medicare Advantage plan and have decided that they want to travel, that they're looking at spending the winter maybe in Florida, they can go ahead and switch right now to a supplement plan.
They can if they can pass the health history questions.
Okay.
Okay, so that's another key point to Medicare supplement policies is when you're first eligible for Medicare, you have a guaranteed issue into a supplement policy. If you wait and sign up later, you have to answer health history questions. So you can be denied coverage.
And what types of questions are we talking about?
Well, they're going to want to know if you have cancer, if you have a heart condition, if you're on certain medications. Depending on which carrier you go with, they all have pretty much the same basic questions, but there's about 10 to 12 knockout questions that could keep you from getting into a supplement policy. However, if you're moving from Minnesota or a state to another state, that gives you a special election period, which will then give you a guaranteed issue right into a supplement policy.
So if you're moving not during open enrollment, do you have that option?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The annual election period is from October 15th until December 7th, where you can make a plan change. So the third thing to know about Medicare is the open enrollment period, which is from January 1st until March 31st. And that's where you can, if you're in an Advantage plan and you decide, oh, this wasn't the plan for me, I need to make a change, you have an opportunity to make one plan change during that time into another Advantage plan, or you can drop your Advantage plan and go back to original Medicare. At that time, pick up a supplement policy and a drug plan.
So open enrollment, the time frame is actually not the same as the election period that we're talking about right now from October to December.
Correct.
So this is actually, we're just scratching the surface with all the details that go along with Medicare and all the different plans available. So if you have more questions, you can actually contact Candy to have a sit down and get your questions answered and maybe learn more about the different plans that are available. Now, Candy, if you could tell people one last thing that they should know, what kind of advice would you give?
Well, it's important to know that Medicare does not cover long-term care or custodial care. Therefore, if you're planning, your retirement with Corey and Amber, it's important to think about a long-term care policy, some type of care, that isn't covered by Medicare. Medicare will cover hospice care, but it does not cover long-term care in a nursing home.
So if you are actually concerned about long-term care, make sure that you reach out to us and you can schedule a 15-minute introductory phone call with us and we can discuss all of those things. Well, Candy, thank you for being with us today. We learned a lot. And if you have more questions, be sure to reach out to Candy because she can help you make the rest of your life the best of your life.
Thanks for having me.